Good morning. Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe there's a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we are using it in this beautiful setting here at Wellness Park with the Labyrinth. And remember, on Labyrinth is a centering process. It's a walking meditation. And we had this experience of being at Temple Isaiah and feeling that it wasn't financially viable, so we moved out and thought we'll meet here in Wellness Park for a while. But then the Temple Isaiah administrator called and said, what can we do to keep you here? And that was to waive the $400 increase in rent, which they did, and we are very grateful. So next week we will return to Temple Isaiah, but we'll return in a rebirthing process, a new energy, a recognition that there is a power for good in the universe, that every single one of us are using it, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. So on this Gay Pride Sunday, where we gather to acknowledge that our way of life moves beyond color, race, creed, sexual orientation, and political affiliation. It moves beyond all of those things that are outside of us, because we are all one. One of my favorite stories is a Cherokee legend, and it's about an elder grandfather. And the elder grandfather was speaking to his grandson, and he said, "Son, I want you to know that within each one of us lives a wolf." And he said, within us, this wolf can be very treacherous and very hateful and filled with superiority and judgment. But within us also can live another wolf, filled with humility, love, understanding, and compassion. And the grandson's eyes got really, really wide, and he said, "Yes, grandfather." And he said, "And son, within you, this wolf lives as well." And he said, "Well, grandfather, which one will win?" And he said, "The one that we feed." So in this recognition of all the experiences that we have had, what are we feeding? Are we feeding that energy that forwards and advances ourselves, others, and ultimately the planet? Are we forwarding and advancing that energy of love, compassion, understanding? The recognition that yes, within all the diversity, there is oneness. Within all the multiplicity, there is oneness. And when we talk about unity and diversity, this is what I love about Palm Springs, is that we feel an energy here, and there is an acceptance. And many years ago, I started the Gay Pride Sunday. I was the first New Thought ministry that founded it, but now there are many now that have jumped on board and realized that, hey, we are all one. Let's acknowledge our gay brothers and sisters. And of course, in our community, 95% of our community is gay. And what we know is that through that gayness, there is an energy, there is an aliveness, and there's also bringing to the altar all the experiences. I love when our own Prince Fleet Easton shared this morning about feeling bullied, and that he had to move through that in his life. And rather than feeding the energy of bitterness and upset and the hatred for the ones that bullied him, he had a healing. So which wolf are we feeding within us? And then Dustin sharing about his experience of being falsely arrested and had to come to that conclusion, God's got this. And when we know that God's got this, then no matter what's going on outside of us, the gates of hell that prevail against us have no energy, because we are not giving it energy. And as we acknowledge our own sacred agreement to ourselves, and that sacred agreement is, I am created in the image and likeness of God, and it is not only good, what is it? It is very good. And through that goodness, that mercy, and that energy, that we live and move and have our being in this embodiment. And it's about embodiment, because this is the easiest thing in the world. I can stand up and talk, till I'm blue in the face about these principles, and unless I embody it, it's sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal, it goes nowhere. It's about the embodiment, about our willingness to go within to that secret place of the Most High and pray to our Father, Mother, God in secret, and to know that we are acknowledged openly by the outward demonstrations of our lives. I dedicate this service today to Martin Anthony. a beautiful part of our ministry for years and years and years. He was our volunteer coordinator when we had 150 people coming every week at the Camelot Theater. And he would do the silent auctions, and everything Martin touched turned to gold. And our silent auctions were amazing. And he created this wonderful company. It was called Spirit in Me. And he created these affirmation cards with beautiful photographs on them. Just amazing. And last Gay Pride Sunday, Martin shared. And he shared that on his 40th birthday, he was going to come out to his parents. And his parents lived in New York. And he said, I went over it and over it and over it in my mind. He said, I was so scared. I went to a hypnotherapist. And I said, I've got to get over this. You know, I love my parents. I want their approval. And yet, you know, I feel blocked. And so he went to hypnotherapy and then flew to New York. And Mom and Dad were there, you know, around the kitchen table. And he said, I have something I want to share with you. And they said, yes, son. He said, I want you to know that I'm gay. And the parents looked at him, and he said, and I was very afraid to share this with you. And he said his mother got up, went around the table, took him in her arms, and said, you are my son. I will always love you. You are my son in whom I am well pleased. I will always love you. And he said his father, you know, showed very little emotion. I mean, that's how it was when he grew up. But when his father took him to the airport, he said his lips quivered. And his father embraced him and began to cry and said, I love you, son. I love you. And he said, I got up on that airplane, the one kind of like the one we're hearing now, and I was freed. I was free. I felt an energy. I felt so much. Just leave me. The fear-based thinking. So as I dedicate this service to our own Martin Anthony today, and I know you're smiling on us, I can feel your energy and your spirituality. And what I know is that death is not extinguishing the light, it's turning off the lamp because dawn has come. And believe me, in San Diego, when I was, you know, I was the minister, I had 3,000 people coming every week. And every single week we were doing memorial services for the AIDS virus. And there would be black wreaths on doors, and mothers that were grieving for their sons and daughters. And so I made this commitment to myself, a very deep commitment, that I would be an advocate. And you know, I've won many awards. When you've been in a way of life as long as I have, and you're 75 years young, you get all the awards. However, the one that I value the most is the Human Rights Award given to me here in Palm Springs, because I advocate on a very deep level because I know we're all one. And that isn't about color, race, creed, sexuality, or sexual orientation or gender or any of that. Which wolf are we going to feed, you see? Are we going to feed that wolf that is going to engender hatred, or are we going to feed the wolf that is engendering love, compassion, understanding? See, that is our responsibility to ourselves and each other. That what are we going to do with our experiences? Are we going to then heal ourselves so that we can go out and serve others? I think so. And you know, I was raised in domestic violence, and there was a lot of abuse, and my sister took her own life. And I made that decision as I looked out and I saw that other families weren't like ours. They were happy. They loved each other. And I made that my role model. So as we look at which wolf are we going to feed, the loving, gentle wolf within us, the compassionate energy, and allow that to come forth, or the other, because we are always at choice. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. And I'm very aware that Jesus only gave one commandment. Love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And as we love our neighbor as ourselves, and love as I have loved you, that is the only commandment, that we love each other, regardless of color, race, creed, sexual orientation, or political affiliation. Love one another. So gay or straight or trans, we are all one. And in this oneness do we live and move and have our being. In this oneness are we gathered together to grow, to unfold, and to be all that we can be. We grow through our differences. We grow through, the diverseness, but we gather together through our similarities. And this is why I love our way of life, is that we advocate our oneness, and that we are all about social justice, and we are about equality, and the very nature of our country grounded in that pursuit of happiness, regardless of color, race, creed, sexual orientation, or political affiliation. We are all one. In this oneness do we live and move and have our being. In this oneness are we drawn together. So on this day, when we acknowledge the opportunity that we have to go within, and any little grudge that we're feeling or any little upset that we're feeling, to just let that go. Return to its native nothingness from whence it came. Because in truth, it is neither person, place, nor thing. It is only the life and the energy that we give unto it. We believe in our way of life that nothing happens by chance, that there are no accidents, and that everything we draw in to learn and to grow and to unfold. And as we unfold and we embody this way of life, our life becomes so much more peaceful. We acknowledge that that energy goes before us and prepares the way as we become a lamp unto our own feet, drawing others into our light and into our energy field. So as we gather on this Gay Pride Sunday, as we acknowledge our oneness, as we draw the larger circle and recognize that no matter what is going on, that we have the opportunity to draw the larger circle and include whatever it is. He drew a circle that shut me out, but love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. And on this Gay Pride Sunday, where we acknowledge the energy of liberation, I love what Dustin had to share about feeling liberated and recognizing that God's got this. And as we recognize that God's got this, no matter how unbelievable it looks on the outside, there is an energy at work. And we don't always see it, but we have to stand in the truth and acknowledge only good flows to me because only good flows from me. This is the truth for me and with me. So on this day, as we recognize energetically that we're not here by chance, we are here by divine appointment, and that no matter what is going on in the objective world, it has nothing to do with us unless we are unhealed, unless we have something to learn, unless we're still growing. So this is our opportunity to let go and let God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us. And that if you tuned in at this moment, this message is for you. That we come together, remember, through our similarities, we grow through our differences. We unfold in miraculous ways. We open the space of miracles, knowing that miracles are natural. The Course in Miracles states that every loving thought is true, and everything else is a call for healing or help, regardless of the form it takes. And sometimes the forms, show up in our lives, and then we need to make that adjustment. And in my 44 years of the ministry, I've seen it all, believe me. I've seen it all, and I recognize that it's there for me to grow and to unfold. So I am the greatest benefactor of that. So today, and I loved when Fleet sang the rainbow connection, when the rainbow appears, I will remember the everlasting covenant between me and all living beings. We are all one. And in this oneness do we live and move and have our being. In this oneness do we arise together, acknowledging that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. We can use it. And that as Jesus said, as he walked the earth and did his sermons on the mount and at the Sea of Galilee, this commandment I give thee, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that you love each other. Love thy neighbor as thyself, which presupposes that we do love ourselves. I can only give you what I feel for myself. And if I can't feel it, I can't heal it. So on this day, we make a commitment that whatever is going on within us, that we have the power to let it go, to return to its native nothingness, and to know that all cause, effect, record, and memory that has occurred within us is returned. And as we embody the nature of who we are, that energy enlarges our life. And I always add in my treatments that when I release something quickly, gently, and with grace, to release it quickly, gently, and with grace is to allow it to just flow out of our life as easily as it came, right? So I bless you for being here in this beautiful Labyrinth Park at Wellness Park. And this is such an opportunity for us, just to be in nature, and the opportunity to feel the energy of 100,000 people coming to Palm Springs to celebrate Gay Pride Sunday, and the recognition that I love who I am. This is who I am. And in fact, I love it so much, I'm going to create a parade around it. And when you create that parade, others come, right? And they participate. And they feel the joy as well. Because remember, joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. And that makes all the difference. So I say to you, I am so grateful that we're here together, that we're all going where? We're going higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place, and we will not come down. None of these outer things move me, because I am in a high place. And I will not come down. And so it is. I say namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. And the God in you salutes the God in me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there truly is only one of us. Shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. And so it is.